Hello and welcome to Octane 22 edition of Meet the Experts. My name is Dave Fenn and I'm the Director of Architecture at Okta, responsible for professional services delivery practices for the Americas, and I'll be your moderator today. In today's Meet the Experts panel, we're going to touch on three key topics: Okta plus Terraform, identity governance and administration, and B2B use cases. We'll be leveraging our panel of Okta experts to bring you insights into each of these. A quick note today to everyone listening: our experts are online now and ready to answer your questions, so please feel free to send in questions in as the chat as we go. Let's meet our experts now. Bala, would you please kick us off and introduce yourself?
Hi, this is Bala Garbarti. I've been working at Okta as a senior services architect. I have been in identity governance and access management space for over 18 years. I'm based out of Dallas, Texas.
Thanks. And Jem?
Hi, I'm Jim Dunk. I'm a senior services architect, and I've been working in the B2B and B2C space for SIAM customers for over 20 years now.
And finally, Abhishek.
Thank you, Dave. Hello, all. My name is Abhishek Sinha. I am a services architect in the professional services team at Okta. I have more than 15 years of experience in IT industry with a specialization in the areas of identity and access management, cloud security, architecture, and solution. Happy to be here speaking in front of you all.
Excellent. Thanks, Abhishek. Okay, let's get started. Our first topic today is going to be on Okta plus Terraform. This is absolutely something that we're seeing more of and more in projects that we work on. Customers want to be able to integrate Okta with their CI/CD pipeline. Well, I know you and I have talked about this a lot recently, but when a customer wants to get started with Terraform, what is the first thing you start to look at to help guide the customer?
We guide customers according to their classifications. Customers with brand new Okta tenants who like to use Terraform from the get-go. This is the best time to start using Terraform. Then we have customers with existing implementations with tenants configured manually or using APIs. Currently, Terraform do not have a great support for terraforming existing configurations, but we have some tools to help with first steps and a good amount of upfront work needed. Using Terraformer is a good place to start for this type of customers. Lastly, we have customers using Terraform with classic tenants and are looking to migrate to OAE. Here, we need to migrate Terraform scripts from older Terraform provider to the latest Terraform provider. There are few break changes and we will be handling them as part of the script migrations.
It sounds like the latter two use cases are complex. Can you elaborate more on those complexities?
That's right. There are complexities involved. For customers with existing configuration, Terraformer can be used to generate scripts and state file. We could discard the Terraform generated state file and we could start cleaning up the Terraform scripts. This involves manual effort. Once the Terraform scripts are cleaned, Terraform state files can be generated using Terraform import commands. This can be automated using custom scripts. And for customers migrating from Classic to OAE who already are using Terraform to manage their Classic tenants, either fully or partially, Terraform scripts must address the break changes, which are resource type names and attribute name changes. Then when that's done, the references to resources must also change, like dependent resources, references within the output TF files. Once that is done, then the TF state file must be generated to match the state of the scripts that are being changed. This requires using of Terraform commands, which also can be automated using Terraform scripts.
Okay, so what are your recommendations for customers looking for best practices when using Terraform?
Some of our recommendations are modularize the script. For example, modules to manage groups, sign-on policies, etc. Separate data from the scripts. This gives flexibility for tenant-specific configurations like custom domain using a single code base for the scripts. With separation, data and scripts can evolve independently. Using one code base to manage tenants using Terraform workspaces, it can be used both in open source version of Terraform as well as cloud version of Terraform. And we recommend to use remote backend to store Terraform state file with encryption and versioning enabled.
Okay, Bala, but as you know, my team doesn't have any Terraform skills. How long does it take someone to learn Terraform, in integration with Okta?
Yeah. So, considering the person already knows Okta, it's easy to get started with Terraform scripts. The Terraform scripts are written in HCL, HashiCorp configuration language, which is similar to JSON with some programmatic aspects like variables, loops, and built-in functions. There are three most commonly used commands: plan, apply, and destroy. And knowing Okta provider resources and data sources will get the person started for what they need to get productive.
All right, so one last quick question for you, Bala. Any alternatives to using Terraform for automating Okta configurations?
Not really. Terraform provides many advantages like drift detection and correction for managing resources that are managed by Terraform. The alternatives like using direct APIs will not provide all these advantages.
All right, well, I guess it's going to be interesting to see if any new players emerge in the market at some point in time. Let's move on to our next topic, which is going to be IGA, an important one for Okta customers. Abhishek, can you help us get started by maybe giving a brief overview of IGA?
Sure, Dave. Identity governance and administration is an important aspect to consider for any organization's cybersecurity solution. The number of applications and systems an end user needs access to perform his daily job duties are increasing day by day. Hence, it is imperative that the access request processes for these applications are well documented, but at the same time should be user friendly. Organizations should also set up a periodic review of the accesses in these applications to avoid undue access being provided to end users. This is where Okta Identity Governance can help an organization not only effectively manage user identities, but also the access that these users have to the applications and systems. It can also provide an overview who has access to what applications, thus remediating undue access and minimizing security risk.
No doubt, access visibility is so key these days with so many audit and compliance considerations. Can you give some examples of applications and systems being referenced here?
Sure, Dave. These applications can range from any SaaS applications like Workday, ServiceNow, to any custom on-prem legacy solution that is performing some business functionality for an organization. It can also be access to infrastructure as a service solution like AWS. End users also need access to critical SOX applications like Salesforce, SAP, which has added weightage of SOX audit reviews.
That has to be a lot to manage and track. What are you seeing as some of the common challenges that organizations are facing in terms of identity governance and access certification?
So based on the implementations that we have done, some of the common challenges that we see organizations facing are in the area of access request, access certification, and identity lifecycle management. So talking about access request, many organizations are still leveraging manual and time-consuming access request processes. Employees or contractors are still using emails or Word documents as a means of requesting access to systems with no proper audit of approval, which in turn results to a poor end user experience. Another area where we see organizations struggling is in the area of access certification and review. They have manual labor-intensive access certification processes, which in turn increases the operation cost. There is also no defined processes for running these access reviews for the applications, which ultimately leads to organization in having no visibility of who has access to what applications. Last but not the least, organizations are also spending a lot of time in manual provisioning and deprovisioning of user accounts to their target applications. They have increased service desk cost due to the fact that they don't have proper self-service capabilities like password reset, account unlock to the applications.
Yeah, well, clearly, based on what you just said, there's a lot of challenges involved. Can you elaborate on how Okta helps combat them?
Sure. So as you can see in the visual, Okta Identity Governance includes 4 important solutions to help organization implement a robust IGA solution. They being access request, access certification, lifecycle management, and Okta workflows. So starting with access request on the top left. So access request can help you simplify and automate the process of requesting access to applications and systems. It can also enhance the end user experience by offering self-service capabilities tightly integrated with collaboration tools. Second, the access certification solution provides campaigns offer a simple process of creating audit campaigns to periodically review user access to critical systems and revoke access in case not needed. These processes are important for making sure that the end user don't accumulate access over a period of time. Like a person can move across a department and he can still have roles from his previous department, which is again a security risk of having the end user having undue access. Okta has pre-built integrations between HR and IT system to automatically keep user information and statuses in sync. We have integrations with key HR as a system resources like Workday, Altipro, which can help you automate the whole lifecycle management from the source system to Okta to the target systems. Last, the Okta Workflows. It is our no-code platform orchestration platform which that provides the extensibility and customization necessary to solve complex IGA problems.
Hi, Abhishek. Well, you mentioned access requests. Can you touch on the different channels that the OIG access request module supports?
Sure. So OIG Access Request module provides omni-channel support. You can request and approve access requests from chat, which can be Slack, Teams, or email or web UI. This helps in providing a better end user experience and promoting self-service automation.
Okay, but in terms of setting up approval flow for access requests, what flexibility do we have?
So IG approval workflow is quite flexible. Depending on the criticality of the application, you can set up multi-level approvals, which ensures that critical requests receive the necessary oversight and are thoroughly reviewed as well. So you can configure workflows as per your requirement, again, based on the criticality of the application. If you have a critical application like Splunk, which requires you to go through a security approval, you can set up the approval like first manager, then the resource owner, and then it can go to the security team just to see an oversight why the access is being requested, and then the access can be granted.
I love the idea of automating these flows and having multiple approvals as an option. Are they hard to set up? What expertise do I need to do it?
So it is pretty easy to configure. You don't need to be a hardcore developer. There's no coding required in that. It's an intuitive admin UI that provides you the whole flow where you can set up these flows and the approvals needed for that. And then once the approval is done, you can automate the provisioning of the target application as well.
Well, that's certainly great to hear. As I think about it, many clients have a requirement for providing time-based access. Can I configure that in OIG as well?
Sure. So based on our implementations that we have done for multiple organizations, this has come quite a bit where they need a capability of configuring time-based access requests. A common example of this use case can be when you grant the Okta support team member an access to your organization to review their configurations or to review the settings, right? So you have to provide that access for maybe a couple of days and then revoke the access. So certainly with OIG access request flows, you can configure this time-based access for a defined amount of time, and the access is automatically removed after the defined time is expired.
Okay, let's move to access certifications in OIG. What kind of campaigns do I create?
You can create one-time certification campaign, or you can also create a periodic recurring schedule campaign, example, to run it every quarter. The access certifications currently can be configured for applications configured in Okta, or it can be a group-based certification as well. In terms of the reviewer, you can set up a single reviewer at this time.
Nice. One last question for you, Abhishek. What are the reminder and remediation options I can set up for campaigns?
So in terms of reminder, you can set up a reminder to be sent to the reviewer X days before the campaign close, right? So if the reviewer has not reviewed or completed the access certification process, a reminder will be sent to the reviewer to complete that process. In terms of remediations, there are a couple of options that you can configure in case the reviewer does not action on the review task or the reviewer chooses to review the access. You can do nothing, or you can also revoke the access. Revoking access means it can trigger a downstream deprovisioning of the application. Now, if you want to have a customized requirement, the certification decisions are captured as events and are available to you in the workflows. So you can basically write down your own custom workflow based on the event. Example can be trigger a ticket to the ITSM tool like ServiceNow to manually deprovision the application from your system.
Wow, it's amazing what we can do in OIG already today. Thanks, Abhishek. Okta's Identity Governance is definitely an exciting new product. Our final topic for today is going to be on B2B use cases. Jim, I know you and I have spent the last several years working with customers on their B2B implementations. Could you tell us some common B2B scenarios that you're seeing out there?
Yeah, so if you're looking at the slide right now, we have, starting at the bottom, we have customers that have legacy web-based applications, and they don't want to have to rewrite that this time when integrating with Okta. Moving a little bit up, we have customers that have partners in addition to SIAM users. They want to provide a portal for their partners to access applications. We see the same request in the banking, retail, and manufacturing verticals. And then over to the right, people want to SSO between legacy applications and the header-based applications and any new modern web applications they build.
Okay, so thinking about those legacy applications you mentioned, if we have web applications that mostly use header-based authentication, do I need to change the applications to use OpenID Connect or SAML to integrate with Okta?
No, you don't have to change to OpenID Connect. Okta Access Gateway is going to transform the authentication session into the header-based format needed for your legacy applications. So in addition to the header-based authentication, it also supports Kerberos, SAML pass-through, Portal, WebSocket, and other similar applications.
All right, so you also mentioned the Okta dashboard. Is it possible to brand it?
Yeah, absolutely. We are seeing customers provide the Okta dashboard to their partners, and they want it branded. The dashboard allows you to set your logos and default color scheme and to keep a consistent branding message with your partners.
What if I need to support a global user base out there? Does the Okta dashboard support multiple languages?
Yeah, it does. And that's another benefit of the Okta dashboard. So users have the ability to configure their preferred language. And currently today, Okta supports 27 languages.
Jim, as you know, migration is always a key topic when we're doing our workshops. In these scenarios, do I need to migrate all of my applications at one time with a big bang migration, or is there other approaches we can consider?
Not at all. We have customers that are moving over applications in stages. It's especially harder for companies that have hundreds of applications to convert everything over at the same time. So we can put designs in place that support applications being able to keep authentication on the current authentication framework, as well as moving specific applications over to using Okta for authentication. We see this in treasury banking, where users have just an ID for their username and a hardware token for authentication. And rather than having to migrate all applications over to Okta for authentication, they use IDP-initiated login and match to existing accounts in Okta. So then as they start to refactor existing applications or build out new modern apps, they integrate those directly with Okta.
Well, that's comforting me because we both know how risky a mass migration can be for our customers. In this scenario, how does the SSO between apps using OAG and modern OpenID Connect SAML applications work?
So first, the authentication session is established with Okta. This means any application integrated with Okta will be able to take advantage of the current auth session and allows users to SSO based on current auth policy settings. Okta will send a SAML request to OAG, which then transforms the authentication into what's needed by the legacy apps.
Okay, that makes sense, but it makes me wonder, if I can connect my legacy applications to Okta Access Gateway right now, then why do I want to modernize my legacy applications at all?
It's about investment and security. So companies have invested a lot into their current applications, and they can extend the life of that investment by incorporating modern authentication and allowing them to interoperate better with other applications. And keeping up with all the latest security threats can be time consuming. So by centralizing your communication with Okta, you're going to be able to concentrate on your core business model and let Okta protect your identities.
Right, right. Well, security is always an important topic. Are there any other security benefits by moving my authentication to Okta?
Absolutely, yeah. So Okta policies follow the NIST assurance levels, and you have granularity of defining application level policies. So you can have your non-critical applications, password, they can do a less strict policy like, say, password or email magic link, while critical applications can require a phishing-resistant authenticator. The policies also work together, meaning they are only challenged for additional authenticator per the policy. So on the flip side, if they authenticate with an authenticator that was already a stronger, like a phishing-resistant authenticator, it'll match the lower level assurance level, so they won't be prompted for password again.
Great, thanks for that tidbit, Jim. That brings us to the end of our Meet the Experts panel session today. Thanks, Bala, Jim, and Abhishek. I really enjoyed talking with each of you today, and I certainly learned a lot.
Thanks, Dave. Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Dave, thank you so much. I appreciate being here, and it was great being here with Bala and Abhishek.
Thank you, Dave, for giving me the opportunity to speak on this platform.
We hope that everyone watching today found this helpful. Okta Professional Services is always here to help you.